If you want to sit down, and you have very wide 6, Robin. I don't even know what it is.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the 24th commencement ceremony for Commencement. Thank you, first of all, to Major State Representative Simmons and Jessica and her staff for allowing us to use this beautiful space to celebrate this evening. Once the LaPorte County complex is fully restored, since we're a county-wide program, we hope to alternate our graduations between the two cities. Because we think that's just kind of a nice thing to do, recognize that we all represent here. We'll be celebrating our 12th year as a program in a few weeks. We started this court in May of 2012, and since then we've had 94 graduates, and tonight we're going to celebrate 3 more people who have changed their lives. Being in recovery is so much more than just not using drugs or alcohol. It's about changing your mindset, your people, places, and things. It's about changing your focus, your determination, and your discipline. In order to build a life you don't want to escape from, nearly everything has to change. So, thank you for being here tonight to show your respect and support for the hard work that our 3 graduates have done. As always, we like to start our ceremonies with a reminder that accountability goes hand in hand with the message of hope, because we believe some people change. This evening, we recognize Denise, Tim, and Dale as they venture into what one of our graduates, who you'll hear from later, described as their 3rd life. The one before alcohol and drugs, the one in active addiction, and the one in recovery. This program is a minimum of 18 months. It requires weekly random drug testing, weekly meetings with therapists, case managers, possibly peer recovery coaches, mentors, sponsors, self-help meetings, community projects, volunteering, and having to have a job or be in school. Meeting the individual where they are at may mean budgeting, parenting, or any number of other services that we have to fine for them. These people up here, our graduates, have done all of this work, and while they're no longer monitored by the court, they're now monitoring their own selves with a support system that they built on their journey. We know so much more about substance use disorders and mental health needs than we used to. And this community has been so supportive of our mission. Your presence here tonight proves once again how much you care for our graduates. Well, I know many of you are family and friends. I also know there are just as many of you here who believe that just because someone is struggling with alcohol and drugs doesn't make them a lost cause.
Right.
Because like it or not, we're all in this together. So when one rises, we all rise. Some of you know firsthand about the ravages of addiction and what it does to an individual and a family. Some of you may not have had to deal with that, but everyone in this room knows someone who has. You know that it causes people to lose their jobs, their homes, their children, their families, their health, their confidence, the trust of others that they love, and maybe most importantly, their hope. So if you have been here before, you have heard me say that recovery isn't for those who need it, it is for those who want it. And our graduates wanted it very badly. Denise, Tim, Dale, I want you to look around and maybe talk to some folks afterwards so you know you're not alone. Addiction is a very selfish disease, and it loves to trick you into thinking that you're all alone, and nobody cares, and nobody could understand. But as I look around the room this evening, I can tell that that's a very different story here. To be clear, this is a relentless disease. If you struggle with it and it does not have you in its grips, it is patiently waiting on the sidelines for any sign of weakness. Anyone who has battled it knows how quickly it can come for you again and again. If you are not watching, it will come for you. Our graduates here tonight know what it's taken for them to get here, and they know what they have to do to remain on their recovery journey. Now, while all of our graduates have done the work to get here, they will tell you they could not have done it alone. One of the things that makes problem-solving courts so unique and effective is the team concept of approaching addiction. It is the combination of intensive therapeutic treatment and the accountability of court monitoring that leads to the national statistic that about 75% of people who graduate from problem-solving courts never see another pair of handcuffs. We have found that to be pretty accurate and tracks locally with us. The team behind me is the group of people who on a daily basis encourage, counsel, correct, listen, hold participants accountable on their path of change. So as their names come up and I announce them, I'd ask them to please stand. Barb Stooksbury is our prosecutor. Bill Nelson and David Payne are our defense attorneys. Holly Grushka is our representative from Community Corrections. Deb and Katie could not be here. Katie is one of our representatives from the mental health community, as well as Jerry Stein. They're from Swanson Center. Paula Dranger is our therapist from Choices Counseling. Sergeant Adam Hannon is our representative from the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department. Ashley Ortega, Eric LaRue, and Carissa Strader are our case managers. Carissa is also our program coordinator. Angela Van Sickle is our bailiff. And Steve Irick is our Chief Probation Officer, who always runs sound. Oh, geez. And Roxanne Justice, our nurse. I'm not exaggerating much to say that every person on this team has been responsible in some way for literally saving a person's life. They're the ones who talk them off the ledge, remind them of how far they've come, warn them of consequences of their choices, dry their tears, hold their children, help them get jobs and driver's licenses. It means that Sergeant Hannon goes to get someone who needs help at 10 p.m. and takes them to the hospital or to safety. It means that case managers call whoever they have to find resources needed for a given participant. Therapists take weekend phone calls. Peer recovery coaches meet any time of day or night for coffee and to remind these people that yes, you can get through today. I will say one more thing to brag about them. The All Rise organization, which you'll see advertised at the very end, and I would encourage you to go to their website. The All Rise organization is the largest organization of professionals who deal with addiction services and mental health in the criminal justice system in the country. There are over 4,000 these problem-solving courts, and I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of members. The All Rise organization just brought on and elected a new chief executive officer. She's from Indiana. She's helped us get certified and she's worked with us frequently. And I'm bragging because when a new court in Indiana wanted to know, how do we start? What do we have to do? What does this look like? How do we operate? Who do you think she sent them to observe and learn from?
Good.
It's these people. And they are amazing. And again, I say this every time we have a graduation, so I know many of you, Mr. Novak, Mr. Morris, can repeat this. The measure of a good and successful life is not in making your own dreams come true, but in making someone else's dreams come true. So I could not do what I do, our graduates couldn't do what they do if we didn't have this dream team. Do we have any former members of the team here? Thank you, Mr. Mule. If we have any elected officials, would you please stand so we can recognize you as well? There we go. We've got Commissioner Rosa, Mr. Rosenbaum, Mr. remind me?
Poulter.
Thank you, Mr. Poulter, and Randy Novak of Maine County Council. Okay, very good. We could not do what we do without the support of our elected officials. They are staunch supporters, and anytime we ask, they say, we'll help, just tell us how. I'd also like to just recognize the remainder of the judiciary. While we're the most intensive court, we are not the only recovery court. We have 6 in the county. Judge Thorne runs the Veterans Treatment Court. Judge Stahlbrink runs the Reentry Court. Magistrate Muncie has the Family Recovery Court. The newest one is Judge Alaviso's court, which is a youth wellness court. And I would be remiss if I did not also thank Magistrate Link, who is significantly helpful to us. So thank you.
When you grow up in generational alcoholism, it's just part of who you are. It's the culture that you come from. I woke up handcuffed to a pipe in a county jail, in a county that I had never been to before. And I knew when I woke up, I knew what had happened. I just didn't remember it. It wasn't until I was taken upstairs into this little courtroom, and this wasn't the first judge that I had been in front of, but this judge was the first one who actually looked at me and called me by name, and he said, "Miss Pennington, you need help, and we're gonna help you." Coming from a place where there wasn't even the recommendation of rehab or any type of treatment, that it was just, back to jail, back to prison. This was all new, and I was so grateful, so grateful. So for the first time, I really did feel that I had an opportunity to live a life without drinking. I grew up in chaos and fear. And because I didn't know any better, I ended up raising my son in that same fear. Drug court has allowed me to change this generational curse that was on our family forever. My grandchildren have never seen me drink. The work that drug court is doing today is affecting generations ahead and changing that dynamic.
We also had a shy elected prosecutor who didn't want to stand up, but thank you for being here as well. At each ceremony, we have someone who has graduated to come say a few words about their journey after leaving the program. We found that it's helpful to those who are excited to graduate, but also a little nervous about what life outside of the program without daily accountability from us is going to look like. Because the real test obviously comes when you live your recovery with the support system you created versus a court-imposed one. I want to say, take a moment before I introduce her. I already mentioned that this is a relapsing disease, which means that even if you graduate, the risk of relapse is always there. Life in recovery doesn't mean you will never falter. But if anyone in recovery stumbles and falls, it can be a powerful reminder of how fragile the sobriety they've worked for truly is. And it may never happen again. But the main thing for anyone in recovery to remember is that if you stumble, accept it, learn from it, reevaluate the situation, go back to your support system, hold your head up, and get right back on that horse. That is what a lot of people think recovery should or does look like. That is what it truly looks like, which hopefully brings home the point of how remarkable it is that we now have 97 graduates from this program. Recovery is not perfection. It will never be fully accomplished because it's a work in progress. It's a process of becoming the person you always wanted to be. So we don't celebrate perfection. We celebrate fighters. And we have a fighter tonight as our previous graduate speaking. Missy graduated in December of 2022, and she has taken the second chance and run with it. So I know you're going to want to hear what she has to say tonight. Please welcome Missy.
Hi, thank you. I wasn't going to cry, but I already am, so here we are. My name is Missy. I'm an alcoholic. I entered the problem-solving court in April of 2021 after my second DUI. Today I am 3 years, 2 months, and 3 days sober. looking back, I don't know how I would have done 3 days sober, let alone 3 years. But the time really has gone by really fast. I'm an alcoholic, but there's so much more to me than that. I'm kind, I'm caring, I'm independent, I'm strong, I'm intuitive. I love to know how things work and enjoy learning new things. I have a life that I enjoy, that I'm not running from any longer. I have a life that's worth living. I isolated a lot with my drinking. I was functioning alcoholic. I went to work every day. I paid my bills, went home, got blackout drunk, and did it all over again. It was a cycle that I repeated for probably a good part of a decade. I had been diagnosed with PTSD by a previous therapist after an abusive relationship. When I got into the drug court program and my therapist told me I had PTSD, I finally believed her. I like to tell people that I don't suffer from PTSD. It's something that I have. I don't have the triggers that I had. I don't self-medicate like I used to. Sorry. This program saved my life. I drank because I wanted to numb all my feelings. That was my treatment for all the things, happy, sad, good, bad. One of the things that they say a lot in AA is that the good thing about getting sober is you get your emotions back, and the bad thing about getting sober is you get your emotions back. A lot of things I didn't realize when I was drinking is that I was killing all the good emotions too. So even when something good happened, or I was at my niece or nephew's birthday party, I didn't feel that joy because I was still so numb and empty inside. This program gave me back all those feelings, those good feelings. It taught me how to deal with the bad ones when they show up. I never knew how to do that before, you know? I say in meetings a lot, they taught me how to square dance in high school. They never told me how to deal with my trauma or emotions or anything that happens in real life. I have not square danced my way out of any situation ever. So I'm not that coordinated. I finally found the person that I used to be. She had mentioned about the 3 lifetimes. My friend Dan, who graduated the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, used to say that to me all the time, that we have 3 lifetimes. We have the one before addiction, the one during, and the one after. I'm finally back to that happy person that I used to be before all the bad stuff. And I'm enjoying my life every day. I get new opportunities all the time. I've been promoted at work. I've been given significant raises. I actually have a car that I don't have to work on every day, which is really nice. In the program, they sent me to therapy, and that really changed a lot of the things that were in my head. Taught me how to like myself and love myself again. I hadn't loved myself for years. I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror. I was angry. I always thought, like, through my sobriety, the hardest thing would be forgiving my abuser. And the hardest thing was forgiving myself. And I've done that, and it feels great. And even now when I make mistakes, I used to have those cognitive distortions where I had, oh, you're so dumb, why'd you do that? I don't do that any longer. I look at it, what can I learn from the situation to do it better the next time? Right. There's a quote that I hold dear to my heart, and I said it in my speech at my graduation. And it was, we need to quit pulling people from the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they keep falling in. To me, the problem-solving program is this. They went upstream with me. They helped me figure out why I was repeating the cycle day after day, falling in, being drugged down the river, barely keeping my head above water. To me, life is like a river. You know, in a river, you can never touch the same water twice. And in life, you can never touch the same moment twice. And it's an amazing thing to see people change. I look in this room and I'm so happy that I see so many familiar faces, because there's a lot of people in here. But I can tell you there's at least a dozen people in this room that have said something to me that's changed my life. They've altered my way of thinking, which has changed my life, gave me different views. You know, I learned to forgive my abuser, and I think one of the things that was the most helpful in doing that was a friend said, you know, just imagine him as a little boy playing in his living room and what his life was like. And that really changed my view, and I was able to forgive him, because he did have a hard life and he didn't deserve that life. Nobody deserves that. We all deserve to be happy, joyous, and free. And I finally found that in my sobriety. I attend AA meetings at least 2 to 3 times a week. I never thought 20 years ago that my best friends would be a bunch of drug addicts and alcoholics, but they stick around, and they want to be around me just to be around me. They're not looking for what I can provide to them. I have actually true friends for the first time in a long time. This program's taught me taking it one day at a time and enjoying my life. I stopped to smell the roses and enjoy the beauty in the world. I have done things in the last year that I would have never imagined. When I first got into drug court, I asked Ashley if I could go to the South Bend Motor Speedway, and she said no. I was like 3 days in the program, she's like, no. Last summer, I was able to race there, and I got 3rd place. Never once thought I would do that. I was scared to death the whole time. I'm scared to death right now. One thing I've learned in recovery is fear. Face everything and recover. So I keep recovering. I keep doing it all over again. Scared to death, holding on, but I'm doing it. I don't have to hide any longer from all the things. I look back on the version of myself that I used to be and how far I've come. A lot of the things I do is I replay that tape. I remind myself of who I was. I remember that shell of a human sitting on my couch, getting blackout drunk every day. I remember that miserable person that would show up to work hungover with barely any sleep, and how miserable I was. My second DUI saved my life. I never thought something so dramatic. I was sitting in that jail cell just thinking, my life is over, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna lose my job, I'm gonna lose my house, I'm gonna lose my car. All these things went through my head, and it was all the exact opposite. So that just proved that my overthinking is usually wrong. I come up with the scenario in my head of how things are gonna be, and they don't work out that way. And the AA program has allowed me to accept that every day, because the scenario that I come up in my head is definitely not how it's going to happen. So I want to thank everybody that's here today. It reminds me that my disease is still out there, and that there's people still fighting. You guys being here today is helping me with my 12 step, and I'm grateful because you guys have truly saved my life. I don't know what I would have done without the problem-solving program. I think back, and I would probably be on my couch right now, probably half drunk, getting ready to do it all over again the next day. I have the life that's worth living today because people genuinely cared about somebody they didn't know and wanted to help. And I think that if more people are like that in this world, we'd be a lot better off. But I try to pass that forward and look at other people, and if they need help, try to help them to the best of my ability. So I appreciate all you. Thank you for letting me come speak today. I'm excited to see what the future holds for everybody. It's great seeing you guys graduate. So congratulations and thank you.
Mr. Williams, you are sick and you don't even know it. My lawyer objected and said, Judge Rankin, Mr. Williams is an educated man, a former military officer. He works and has a wife and kids, and he's a learned man. And Judge Rankin said, that's his problem. He's too smart to know he's dying. I came to be involved in drug court because I could not stay sober. I got pulled over, Good Hope Road, 2008. Got a no paper citation to appear at East of the River Court, and all I had to do was give them 3 clean urines, just 3. I could give them 2, but something called a payday would come up between the second and third test, that I was just incapable of not drinking or using when I had money in my pocket. I'll never forget it. We woke up early that morning from DC jail, and one thing I remember vividly is just the sound of change, almost like being on a slave ship. And I realized, you know, I hadn't been a father in years and I hadn't been a husband in years. That maybe this is an opportunity for you to live for the first time since you can remember. By being immersed in the drug court continuum of care, being immersed in the AA 12-step program and having a wonderful network, my desire to stay sober got greater than my desire to use. I am a 2009 graduate of the DC Superior Court Drug Court Treatment Program, and my sobriety date is December 9th, 2008. And from that day to this day, I haven't found it necessary to drink or use substances. God put something on my spirit, kind of gave me a business philosophy that says that I dream with my eyes wide open. That I certainly have lived a nightmare with my eyes wide open, but the gift of sobriety facilitated through drug court, which meant that the nightmares that I had been living no more had permission to be my master, but now had permission to be my teacher. Because I had learned those lessons and I was able to apply the lessons learned from the nightmares. And when my life got better, I had the gift to be able to assist other individuals who were still suffering for their life to get better.
Our guest speaker here tonight is a very unique individual. He came to our attention when one of our team members suggested he provide entertainment at our annual Christmas party. To say that we were amazed would indeed be an understatement. He is an extraordinarily talented magician. Part of sustaining recovery is finding your purpose. What do you love? What are you good at? Our speaker tonight has found his gift in reminding us that there is still magic, that we can find it. Not everything good in this world is tangible, and that we can still experience wonder and surprise no matter what we've been through. So please welcome Richard Littlefield.
Hello everyone, my name is Richard Littlefield and I am a recovering addict. I can tell you I'm not from this area, but I have seen addiction and recovery in other areas, and it seems to be the same. That's one thing about the disease of addiction. I am grateful that my longtime friend Jerry Stein did get me over to do a magic show and introduced me to Judge Friedman and asked me to come up here and speak. I don't have anything prepared, and after missing showing I wish I had, that was amazing. But all I can do is speak from the heart, the truth, and give you my experience. So my experience with addiction was that when it came down to simple decision making, like buying diapers versus buying a bag of something, there was no decision making involved. It was just an obvious choice for me every time. When consequences started happening, they just never registered. You know, even the heaviest of consequences When I seen the pain in my family's eyes and pain in my children, just didn't make a difference. And it was said already about this being a very selfish affliction. And when you are in the grips of addiction, there is nothing but selfish. That's it, period. And I'm grateful to see even in the last, I don't know, decade or more, the legal and medical institutions have come a long way in not looking at this as a moral failure. And that these people need help, that I need help. And it seems like most people's recovery story comes from somebody else caring enough, somebody else giving an S of them. That's what it comes down to. And this doesn't seem to be a affliction that can be solved on our own. We need people. And it just amazes me year after year. More institutions are brought up, more rehabs, more non-for-profit organizations. There are so many resources available right now. And I was reading in this pamphlet the starfish story, and that hit me hard. I know for myself, I've been clean and sober now 13 years, and I want to mention that because it is a long-term deal, and I am very proud of the 3 that are graduating today because it is an accomplishment. It is a stepping stone, but I would give a few warnings, and it kind of already been said. Up to this point, you've had accountability enforced on you through somebody else. And through my time in my 13 years of recovery, I have sponsored at least 50, 60 men. And what I've noticed and found, and again, this is only through my personal experience, is that accountability, once you're not having to be accountable through the law, it's really hard. And the big warning is a lot of people automatically assume that addiction is triggered by, or a relapse is always triggered by pain. And that is just not true. It can be, but I also see many, many fall in the most joyous, happiest times of their life. And I want to take that as a warning because I'm sure your lives have gotten so much better because you have not been putting substances in your body. That alone improves your life dramatically. And I'm sure your life has gotten so much better because of all of the programs and help that you're getting. Now that you're going to be on your own and accountable for yourself, life is going to get even better. Don't use that as mistakenly as a yardstick that you're doing. You're A-okay. Even though I have 13 years, I know that I can leave here, even after speaking to you from the heart, and still make a bad decision tonight and end up right back where I was. So, thank you so much for having me speak, and I'm just so happy to see programs like this because they do work, even if it doesn't seem like they're helping the majority. It's about helping the individual, and all we want is someone to help us. That's all we want. And thank God for these people that do and take their time. So thank you so much.
There was a time when people in the justice system viewed addiction as a moral failing. They thought punishment alone could stop people from using drugs and committing crime. This began to change the moment treatment courts invited treatment professionals into the courtroom. For 30 years, treatment courts have been proving grounds for new ideas and innovations. You adapted the treatment court model to keep our roads safe, reunite families separated due to addiction, assist tribal communities, and ensure our veterans receive a true welcome home. Today, you have made it possible for justice reform to become an issue most Americans can agree on, and you continually answer the what-if questions others were unwilling to ask. What if we didn't give up on someone just because they have a criminal record? What if judges were able to spend more time with each person in front of them? What if we responded to relapse with additional services instead of revoked probation? What if prison was truly a last resort? What if police officers could help reverse overdoses? Treatment courts opened the door for sentencing reforms, harm reduction strategies, and restorative justice principles to sweep the United States. Treatment court professionals are and have always been problem solvers, but there remain many more problems to be solved. And now more than ever, the justice reform movement needs us to lead.
Before we hear from a couple of our graduates, I would just like to say a few words about them. They all came here with a different story, from a different path. It has been the privilege of this entire team to walk with them through part of their path. Denise, you started the program in October of 2021 and you graduated December of 2023. When you started the program, you were battling a severe use disorder. But it didn't take long for you to realize part of what brought you here was the fact that you lived in and were completely driven by fear. You were afraid to stand up for yourself. You were afraid to ask for help. You were afraid to try new things, to meet new people. You were afraid to fail, and you were afraid to succeed. However, with determination and a lot of work, you started to set your goals, not goals somebody else told you to set. The first goal that I remember you working on night and day was fixing your home, getting it in condition to pass city code inspections. And you did. That was a game changer. People told you it would never happen. You would never go back to your home. And I know it gave you great pride to prove them wrong. You got a job, and then you got a better job, because the confidence that had grown enabled you to go to a previous employer and ask for a second chance. Tell them what you were doing, and they gave it to you. And you told me this was not just a job. This was a sign that you were regaining trust, and that was something you feared you might never gain. You learned the meaning of gratitude, honesty, and giving back. Somewhere along the line, you found your community and your purpose. You began to chair meetings, you became the archivist for your home group, and you began taking self-care to heart. The first time I saw you all dressed up going to a work function, I was nearly speechless. And I will always remember the day you came into court with such joy on your face as you flashed a beautiful smile. You tackled fear head on. Your community is AA and your purpose is taking care of your family. You told Carissa once you would set down roots, and that is what gets you through the storms. And you told me that you now finally know what home means. You had many struggles, and you didn't always do what you needed to do, but you wanted recovery more than anything else. Watching your transformation has been like watching a butterfly escape from the cocoon as you struggle to build this new life. It has been an immense pleasure for all of us to work with you. So please come back and see us. Congratulations. Tim, you came to the court shortly after Denise, and you graduated on the same day. This program is just what you needed at that time in your life. You were so ready to change. All you needed was the tools and support and guidance of people who could help you use those tools. You embraced what you had to do, even when you didn't always want to. The biggest change you had to make was your thinking patterns. The lifestyle and organizational changes that you made were much more difficult than just being drug and alcohol free. And that's pretty common. But you needed somebody who could show you that there was more than one way to approach a situation and help you find a healthier way to cope with life. And you have. You got a job, and you've been going further and further in your career. It didn't leave you much extra time, that's for sure. I worried about that sometimes. But in the few moments you had, you realized you were going to have to work on patience. With this realization came the understanding that this was the perfect time to find out who you really are. And your faith and your spirituality has been such a comfort to you as you balance your responsibilities of work, family, and recovery. You've strengthened the bonds with your family and made new friends who support you wholeheartedly. Early on, you had to deal with some events that could have set you back, but you didn't let them. After a few months, I asked you, what were you most proud of? And you told me, being part of my family again. I think you surprised yourself at how good you were at many things, and it was great to see your confidence grow as well. After you joined the union, you went from just surviving to thriving. You started practicing mindfulness, and you've been appreciating the second chance you've gotten ever since. In the time you've been here, you've learned so much, and it has helped you become the new and best version of you. It's been a privilege for all of us to watch you grow from the person who came into this program, who would not look at me, to the man who sits here today and smiles and has conversations with people. And we saw you start not just smiling, but smiling with your eyes. So, you have become a role model to many in the recovery community, and the key for you to maintaining is your boundaries and your balance as you go forward. We're so proud we were able to be part of this journey for you. Hope you'll come and see us. Congratulations. And Dale, you joined the program in September of 2022, and you are graduating tonight. Just a word about that. Though this is commencement ceremony, people graduate along the way, and we hold these ceremonies about 2 times a year. Today, Dale is actually graduating. If I had to describe you in a few words, I would say a beautiful flower who was waiting to bloom, but you needed somebody to push that cloud away so the sun could shine on you. A lot like Denise and Tim, you came in with a fire and determination that you were absolutely done with that life. And it didn't take you long to get a job, get insurance, get a driver's license, start paying off your debts, start working to save money and attending church. You were always looking for ways to surround yourself with positive messages and influences, whether it was podcasts in recovery, reading books to inspire you, or painting healing pictures from your heart. While you followed the mantra one day at a time, you have also understood that the goals you set can help shape the big picture. You got a sponsor, a new job, and you soaked up every bit of knowledge you could. You told me you were beginning to find your purpose, and that you knew you had one, because you should have died so many times, and you didn't. You told me your way of thinking was based totally on fear, and that now it was based totally on faith. So often, You would come into court and I would ask you a question, and your answer was so thoughtful and powerful that I had absolutely nothing to say in response. You understand that recovery is a daily journey. It's not a destination. You have remade yourself from the inside out. There's a saying about a successful person being the one who does the right thing when no one is watching, the one who walks humbly in gratitude. You are that person. You've showed again and again the power recovery's had in your life when you, all by yourself, started a winter clothing drive for 2 local shelters here in town. This is the flyer Dale made up to see if he could get our community to provide warm clothing for shelters. Dale collected 2,800 pieces of warm clothing. You have taken to heart the message that we are our brother's keeper. We have no doubt that you're going to continue helping others as you practice your own recovery. Your involvement in the recovery community, you told me, was based on your understanding of the basic human need for connection, just like Richard referred to. You have made so many new connections, but I know for you, the reconnections with your family has been the most important. Somewhere along the journey, I asked you about having to do something, and you politely explained to me, no, I don't have to. I get to. So, the 3 of you are shining examples of why this program exists, and thank you for taking the opportunity. So now I think we're going to hear from Denise.
Hello.
All right.
When I was first asked if I wanted to speak, I knew I did. But what do I speak about? Do I talk about recovery or how I got here? Or just thank the court? So this is what I came up with. Hello, my name is Denise, and I am a self-abuser. Raised in a world of abuse in one way or another, from physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, or just seeing abuse. I guess this is what love was to me, since I was the only love I'd seen or felt. I'm not going to go into detail, otherwise we'll be here all day. Just a little summary. By the age of 9, I could cook a full course meal and was raising my brothers and wasn't a virgin. I was smoking cigarettes and took my first drink. It was some kind of magic elixir. I felt like I was walking on the clouds, and there was no more pain. I spent my early teenage years as a runaway, too afraid to go home or too drunk or high to find my way. As an adult, I was in one abusive relationship after another. When there was no abuse, I became a cutter. I thought I deserved to be hurt, but I didn't want to die, or at least deserve the peace of death. I have been drinking alcohol for 50 years and doing drugs on and off throughout that time. I am also prone for self-sabotage my entire life about one type of abuse or another. So when I came to problem-solving court, I was a real mess. So full of fear and anger and self-loathing, my thought process was really screwed up. But the court, even more stubborn than I was, encouraged me to change the way I think. So I had to retrain my total thought process, and it was wrong. This brings me to gratitude. I wasn't grateful for anything. I was told to write a gratitude list. I said, a what? They said things I was grateful for. At first, this seemed like an impossible task. I wasn't thankful for anything, so I simplified it. First, by starting with the little things I'd never really noticed. A door being held open, or a car waving me on, the bird song, the sunset over the lake, the smell of freshly mowed lawn. Then I got into the bigger things. I became grateful to the people around me that helped me. There are so many of them. To gain confidence, to gain confidence and find my morality. To want to be a better person and not just exist. Not to be afraid all the time or angry and stop self-sabotaging. So now I'd like to thank these people who have taken the time to believe in me until I could believe in myself. I'd like to thank my family for all their support. There's a lot of them here too tonight. For being there when I needed them and knowing when not to be there. I'd like to thank New York Blower and some of their employees, Bob Kuzan and Justin Fortner, for giving me a second chance. Even after I threw all my cards on the table, I told them everything about me, everything. They helped me build confidence by being confident in me. And that made me build more confidence in myself. Marcy taught me trust, like a $10,000 trust. It's long story. Anita and Kelly being there when I needed a helping hand. These three women showed me the meaning of true friendship. I would like to thank Jeff Batchelor of the Code Enforcement. He helped me get my house back, even though it needed a lot of work. He had enough faith in me to know I'd get it done. Next, I'd like to thank my brothers and sisters in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous for showing me a better way of living, to let go of yesterday or worry about tomorrow, just to take it one day at a time. And finally, but not totally, the least, to the court, I thank you most of all. Without you, I'd still be lost. My attorney, Ernest Price, for helping me receive problem-solving court. And now, Carissa, I was so afraid of you. Just coming to see you took a lot of bravery. You taught me to be on time, something I've had a lot of problem with my whole life. Soon I'd seen the strength you had. I could tell you'd never take no bullying. I started to admire and wanted to be more like you. And after seeing you at least twice a month or more for 2 years, I can't imagine a life without you in it. So from you, I get my strength and endurance. Paula, thanks for being patient when I was very angry. Oh, there you are. Thanks for being patient when I was angry and just listening to me. And Judge Friedman, thank you for allowing me to be one of those starfish that you picked up off the beach and threw back into the ocean. From you, I learned compassion and boundaries. Not only for others, but for myself also. You helped me realize I was my own worst enemy. I hated myself, so I abused myself. You gave me compassion when I thought I didn't deserve it. I thank all of the court for allowing me the chance to better myself. And I'd like to conclude this by saying I was a self-abuser. Because with all of you people here being my support, I don't need to be anymore. Thank you.
Dale, I think you wanted to say a few words. And we will congratulate Dale. He's getting his graduate certificate tonight.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just first wanted to start by thanking everybody for being here. It means a whole lot to me. To the problem-solving court team, I believe this group of people has the unmatched ability to meet people like me where they're at, no matter where they are, which that can greatly vary day to day. through the power of suggestion, turning ideas into discipline and routine, starting with just small 1% improvements, put to action can multiply, changing the many I can'ts, realizing that most I can'ts were I won'ts. I feel that I have sorted through the wreckage from my living in my transgressions to the best of my ability, clearing from the path as much as possible everything that I used to stumble over. Not only am I no longer confined to the dark mental prison, I also shed light on that dark space. Finding a spiritual solution has made my mental space an inviting place to be. I love who I am, and I am a better version of who I can be, and that is a journey I will continue with love and passion. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody.
And our wallflower wants to say a few words too. Come on up, Tim.
It's rough. I guess I could only say this, man. I've done a lot. I was deep into this for a very, very long time. And when I came into this, I wouldn't have believed that it would work. I doubted. I had trust issues. My body, I've been to prison, got out, never going back, did it again. I come back out, feel like I didn't fit, didn't deserve it, and I fall right back in with misery. Misery loves company. And people, places, and things, man, super important. I don't know. I just know. I thank them all very much from the bottom of my heart. My daughter, my friend. You think you're not hurting anybody but yourself. My daughter hit me with some reality. She said, I don't be close to you, Dad, because every time I do, then you're gone again. That's hard. I carry a lot of guilt for that. I'm working on that. Where's Will? We're working on that. So, I don't know. It works, but you gotta want it. If you don't want it, you're not gonna get it. Nothing I can say to somebody that doesn't want it is gonna have a strike home. You gotta want it. You gotta hit your rock bottom and pull yourself out. Or pull your bottom up to you, whatever you gotta do. It becomes a fact that it's simple. You don't want to get in trouble, don't do crime. Now it seems simple, but I didn't know anything else. That just was my normal chaos, trying to control chaos, and it's impossible. So, I don't know. I just don't do that. My baby.
Thank you, all three of you. As we begin to close this evening, I want to proceed with what I think is a very powerful part of the evening. It's a long-standing tradition in drug courts across the country for more than 30 years to ask the arresting officers to come up front and shake the hands of the graduates. It's meaningful and symbolic because the hands that they will be shaking are the same hands they put handcuffs on. Many is the time a graduate whispers to an officer, "Thank you. You saved my life." So I would like to ask Sergeant Wallace from the Sheriff's Department, Sergeant Oberly from Michigan City, and Sergeant Rob Allen from LaPorte County Police Department. We weren't sure whether we're going to have Dan Kessling, Brandon White. If you're here, please come on up. You guys literally were the first people in the process of saving their lives. So, guys, stand up. I don't have the statistic at hand, but I can tell you the statistics, man, that's a tough word for me, bear out that when you have the support and the participation of law enforcement in this type of program, the success rates skyrocket. So thank you so much.
Because a girl I used to run with, her father dabbled in drugs. I would walk around the playground with her and she would tell me what being high was like, and it started to pick my brain. What's this high? So one weekend I went to her house and that was the first time I'd ever smoked a joint, drank some alcohol, and I tried my first pill. At 19 years old I started dating my drug dealer. He would give me drugs in exchange for us to be in a relationship. But the first time I stuck the needle in my arm, it was game over from there. So I started stealing. Me and 2 other people started stealing for habit because at this point I had started shooting up. I was charged with 17 felonies and 1 misdemeanor. I had 2 to 20 years in prison looking over my head, and I still wasn't taking it serious. I think what helped me with drug court is that everything was so structured. You're always held accountable. My parents loved me, my whole family loved me, but I needed somebody outside of them to say, Chelsea, you're going to die if you don't change your ways. Today I'm the program director of Appalachian Health Services in Logan, West Virginia. I am currently working on my alcohol and drug counseling license, and I just recently graduated with my master's in social work. I'm helping a community get back what we've lost.
I have thanked many people here tonight, and if you look on the back of your handout, you'll see there are many more people who support this program and the participants individually in so many ways. But I would be remiss if I did not thank a very important group of people, and that's the families of the graduates. Your loved ones have battled a disease and always will, but you have had the difficult job of watching the nightmare unfold, holding your breath, and praying for an answer. You are the ones who have had to have the immense faith that small miracles were happening even if you couldn't see them. So thank you for your patience, your courage, and your trust in this program and your loved ones. Thanks for not giving up on them and for believing they deserved one more chance. Denise, Tim, and Dale, please know it might sound corny, but your efforts have changed all of our lives. Your family's lives, your lives, the lives of the people in our county and our state. Because of your efforts and your work, we are safer. Our community is healthier and stronger because you made those changes. We know that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only the light can do that. So please continue to stay in the light and shine your light on others who need it like you did once. For the last 10 years that we've been having graduations, we have ended the evening with a song sung by a local musician who supports and believes in our program. And I am so honored this evening to introduce to you and welcome Pastor Tim Allemeyer from LaPorte First United Methodist Church. In keeping with the gentle nature of our 3 graduates, we asked him to sing a song. It's an older one, but one that will never go out of fashion. The words were true when they were written, they're true today, and they will always be true. When I am asked, Judge, what can I do when I don't really know about addiction, but I feel I should do something? My answer is almost always the same, and it's simple. Be kind. So, Pastor is going to remind us all to try a little kindness.
Your Honor, all I can say is wow for tonight. Thank you guys. I don't speak from anybody but myself because I don't have that authority, but thank you. Missy, where are you, Missy? Missy, I am going to steal that idea, and you're going to be a part of a sermon going forward. I love that idea that rather than pulling them out down the river, why don't we see what's making them. You stole it. Well, you know, you're always going to get credit for it now when I talk about it, Missy. And Dale, Tim, Denise, I am proud to be a part of the same community that you're a part of. Try a little kindness from a man named Glenn Campbell. Long, long time ago. If you see your brother standing by the road with a heavy load from the seeds he sowed, and if you see your sister falling by the way, just stop and say, you're going the wrong way. You've got to try a little kindness. Yes, show a little kindness. Shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on those narrow-minded streets. You got to try a little kindness, so show a little kindness, shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, overlook the blindness of narrow-minded people on those narrow-minded streets. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Again, thank you. All of you are here. We have loads of cake. So please feel free to eat 2 pieces and take one with you. Tim, Dale, and Denise, can I see you up here? Thank you.